Yay Networks.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boom! This is going to be a very, very interesting episode because the title of it is, let me do this again and introduce ourselves. What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the amazing Perfect Pair podcast. Rock-T is who I be, and this woman
it's Krystal, Rock-T's better half.
Yes, indeed. Thanks a lot for all of the amazing support, the growth, and everything that you guys do for us. This week, the title of this episode is requested by one of you guys out there. How to fight for your marriage. Oh,
I know. That is it's such an easy but hard question.
That is a tough question to answer.
But it's easy. Like, it really is easy, but it's hard. And I feel like sometimes we don't realize some of the hardest decisions in life are our best decisions.
And we do make it more hard.
Yes.
Like, we do make it more difficult than what it really is or should be. And if you don't mind, I'm going to start off this episode with a quick thought and then let you kind of do your thing or whatever. So, how to fight for your marriage. We finna get into it. Let's get it popping. The first thing that you got to do, this is what we do, okay? We're not saying that our advice is the holy advice and it's bulletproof, but it's bulletproof for us.
Yes, it is.
First of all, both parties have to want to fight for it. See how simple that is?
Both.
See how easy that is? Like, her and me, you and your mate, you both 100% have to want to fight for it. And real quick, I'm sorry, Gary, is this supposed to be a red light on the camera?
No, so it's recording through a different. So you can see down here at the bottom.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I don't know why I thought I always seen a red light on vibe. So
Yeah, so it was on that one because I was recording straight in the camera, but
Okay.
it overheated, so I'm.
Okay,
around
cool.
and around there.
So now you got to edit this part out. Let me pick it up. Here we go. Keep it simple, guys. Like, if one is halfway in and want to fight, like, but the other one is all the way in, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. It's got to be 100%. Let's go. We want this thing. There we go. 1, 2, 3 team. Like, for real.
And that really is the first step. And you have to me, the first step before that, like, it's like I guess what you prepare for the game, how you warm up and stretch, and stuff like that. I feel like your warm up to decide if you really want to fight for your marriage is that you got to take all your emotions that you're feeling of what causing the issues at the moment to the side.
Put it to the side.
And see, what is it? Why did I get married? Do I still want to fight for this marriage? Is this somebody that I really want to be with? Once you put whatever, because at the moment you're so heated, you're emotional, and every time you react and make decisions off your emotions, most likely it's not a good decision.
Come on now.
And I feel like, especially for me, if I react off my emotions, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be in jail somewhere, doing something I ain't got no business doing, making the wrong decision, tearing up something I shouldn't have tore up, like just unnecessary stuff because I'm reacting off of my emotions, and then I feel guilty about it later, and then I look back and I'm like, dang, if I would have just stopped.
The G word. The G word. Let's get into the guilt part, because most of the time a person feels guilty when there's kids and children involved, and you like, I got to stay here for my kids.
Right.
I don't want to divorce. I don't want to leave my marriage because my kids. I don't want my kids to get caught up in all that. And most of the time, that's the reason why people that's unhappy in a marriage, they stick around a little bit longer than they really wanted to. So my thoughts on that is, listen, if you stay in that situation and you keep bringing that negative energy into the house, into your home, into your family, and you keep bickering, you and mom and dad keep fighting, you keep arguing, the kids know what's going on. It's going to rub off on them. I don't care what you think that they don't know, they can't hear it. Man, your kids.
They hear everything.
Y'all live in the same house.
So if you got soundproof walls and everything, they
gonna
hear
know.
it.
They gonna know. They gonna feel the tension.
They feel it.
So
they see it.
That's gonna harm them worse, in my opinion, than if you just say, you know what? we may not be the best husband and wife, but doggone it, let's team up and be the best mom and dad for our kids, even if it's in separate homes.
So that's the first part. And sometimes that's a hard decision for us to make is if I really want to fight. And if you at this point realize, okay, I don't want to do this no more. I'm done. I don't want to fight for this. I just don't want this person anymore. Then you're done. This is the decision you make. You say, I'm done. You start the process of separating and being the best co-parenting parents that you can be. Now, if you're saying you want to fight, to me, I feel like most of us that have like an inkling of a ounce or something of saying we want to fight for our marriage, I think you should try. I think everybody should try to fight for their marriage no matter what. And the reason why I say that, because we're so quick to get a divorce and separate and do this because of one little problem that's happened or an issue that's happened. Because if you can try to work through it, because you're not going to go into another relationship thinking nothing's going to happen in that relationship. Nothing's going to happen in that marriage. Something's going to happen in that next relationship. Something's going to happen. Are you going to be able to work through it? What?
I disagree a little bit on the part about if you're so quick to go to divorce as a solution, then you say, you know what? Cool, I'll stay in here and fight. If you're quick to go want a divorce, it's not going to work, even if you try to stay in there and fight, because you were so quick to go to the divorce. As soon as something else pops, you're ready to go again.
No, because the reason why I'm saying that is because you're reacting off emotion. That's the reason why most of us that say, I want a divorce, we're mad, we're frustrated.
I'm with you on that part.
And I feel like we just go quick, fine, we'll just get a divorce. Fine, we don't have to be together because you're so irritated. You're so knocking heads. It's a lot of things going and nothing's going right. So why are we together? Everything you say about me is just negative. You're saying I'm this, you're saying I'm doing this wrong. I can't do anything right. I don't know what else to do. We've been there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're thinking like, why are we together? Most of us will be like, okay, let's get a divorce and not work through it. We know people that got a divorce just because someone was being stubborn. Well, since he said it, then I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'm just gonna go through it because he gonna go through it. He don't think I'm gonna go through it, so I'm gonna go through with it.
Okay, so what happens?
That's being petty.
What happens when you calm down? You're no longer emotional, upset, and bothered.
That's why I said at the beginning, if you need to make sure you put your emotions aside.
Right.
Don't react on your emotions to decide if you really want to fight for this marriage. And if you've done that and you say, I still don't want this, then get a divorce and separate. But if you have a little bit of in you saying that I kind of do want to fight, I think you should. I think if you got anything thinking, I do want this marriage, I think you should try to fight for your marriage.
Okay. If
you have an inkling of it, any bit of saying you want to fight for it.
Okay.
Figure out, and then the first thing I think you should do is figure out what's wrong. And when you figure out what's wrong, to me, you have to work on yourself. You cannot worry about what this person is doing and how they're doing it.
That part.
I'm telling everybody this is because we had to do it.
Come on now.
I had to do it.
Because I'm trying to fix you, you trying to fix me, but I ain't fixing me and you ain't fixing you.
Listen.
Don't work that way.
Anytime you're in a relationship and things are going wrong, the first way and first step to making it work is working on yourself.
Come on now.
Figuring out what you could do to make your marriage better. Not that person. Well, when I do this, this is what he does. This is what he do. Well, he always did this. Well, this is what he's doing. We went to counseling for this, and this is what helped us.
Come on.
Honestly, what helped us. And it was like, I don't want to hear about what Rocky is doing. I want to hear what could Krystal do. What could you do to make it better? Can you check your attitude? Are you popping off? Are you just being rude? Are you being sarcastic? How are you talking to him? And I'm like, well, when he talked to me, we not asking about him.
Shut that thing down quick.
She kept saying, we're not
and I'm
asking
over there
about
like
him.
This.
And I'm looking like, and now I'm getting mad because I'm like, you're not listening to me. Because I'm telling you why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Giving her the
because
business.
He's doing this or he's not.
But you're not realizing that she gonna get to me next.
Right. Like, it's not him. You need to worry about you. And then when it finally started to click, like, fine, we just gonna talk about me. It actually got to a point where he had to go in a whole nother separate session because if he's in there.
Because I was like this.
I'm ready to punch him now because you the problem.
I'm over there like.
And in my mind, I'm like, you the problem. He the problem. And we wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for him.
In your mind.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. In my mind, we wouldn't even be in this situation
Remember
if it
that.
wasn't for him.
In the mind.
And at the end, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. Because at the end of the day, who was causing the problems was me. It wasn't him.
Well, I'm not going to let her just take all the credit.
Well, no. But I know it started with me. And that was a hard pill to swallow at first.
Right.
To say, Krystal, it was you. And it, again, is the reason why I started my girls program. It had a lot to do with my childhood trauma that I brought into this marriage. And so I was just not realizing I'm bringing all this drama and this baggage with me. I'm thinking it's just him causing all these issues. But when I started to work on myself, and she was like, we're just going to focus on you every day. I want you to focus on bettering yourself, not getting an attitude, working on how do you speak and how do you communicate with him. Not when he does something you don't like, it's not the first thing you do is just, see, I knew he was going to mess up. I knew he was going to do wrong. I knew he was going to do this and that. He never listens. He's never trying. He's never this. He's never doing this. He always does this. And then just feel like the whole world's at the end of it. It's over. It's done.
Right. Now, listen, of course, I did my share of adding gas to the doggone fire.
Yep. He did. He did. Yes, he did.
Dang, babe. Which is why
you know it.
Yeah, which is why I had to be the best version of myself, and she had to check me too on me. So, but once we swallowed our pride, checked our ego at the door, and we wasn't trying to just...
And the first step we started was working on ourselves.
Absolutely.
Before we started working together as a couple, we worked on ourselves. And it was a lot of work to do that on our own in this process. Mm-hmm. I also want to say this too. So as you're working on yourself, you're coming up with tips on how, whenever y'all do find a disagreement, when y'all do have one, on who's supposed to stay calm, how you're supposed to stay calm.
Oh, you finna get into the good stuff.
Right. Because now this is when y'all starting to work together when troubles do happen again, is how to stay calm and not be disrespectful. So I always felt like it was me always giving in. It was me being the bigger person all the time. And I felt like that. I know he felt like that a lot too. But I knew a lot of this stuff was because of me and my shit. So because I know that, I'm the one that lost his trust. I'm the one that lost him feeling safe with me again and being comfortable with telling me and opening up to me again. So it was my job to make sure to gain that trust back. I knew that. I feel like when you know you're the person that's wrong in the relationship and you realize the wrong that you've done, you need to man up and own up to your responsibilities and what your decisions that you made. And then when you're going in to start making things better. So when we would have an argument, and like they said, we should look at each other. I hate when Rocky looks off when we're talking, especially when in an argument. But when he mad, that's his way of saying, I don't care. I'm going to be disrespectful. So he'll look at the TV. He'll look to the other side. I'm like, look at me.
Right.
But I will be the bigger person and not go off with an attitude. I'm like, can you please look at me? Because remember what we said.
And because she did that and made that adjustment, I ended up looking at her.
Right, but not at that time. Like, I need y'all to understand. Like, during that first argument.
Over time.
I was like, be real. I was like, because them arguments, he would still do it. And it would be frustrating. And then it will make me feel like it's no hope. I'm doing everything, right, and he's not trying. He's not trying now. Mm-hmm. But I'm not knowing he is trying, or I'm assuming that he is trying, but he just hasn't gotten there yet. But I'm still fighting. And I'm willing to fight for this because I understand that I caused him to be to the point where he can't look at me during an argument.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I got to jump in real fast because that's very important to remember, as far as not the other person may not be ready yet for where you want them to be. It takes time. It takes a process. Sometimes people can change that fast. Sometimes it may take a couple of days. It may take a week or whatever. But the most important piece is understanding that whatever I do that pisses her off, that frustrates her, that brings out the worst in her from my actions, that's the part that I got to work on. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about work on yourself, I'm working on it. So if I'm eliminating all those things that she dislikes about what I do to piss her off, and I start not doing those things, well, guess what's going to end up happening by default? She's going to start feeling better. She's going to start feeling like, okay, not being attacked. And if she's doing the same thing to me, guess what's going to happen? How I'm going to start feeling? I'll be like, oh man, this is kind of cool. I kind of like it. It's kind of dope. And then we're going to start realizing that, man, we're playing all these little childish games, right? Because you hurt my feelings, and because you hurt my feelings, I want to hurt your feelings, because hurt people hurt people. Remember that. That's true. And let's just chill with all that stuff. And let's slowly but surely start making a list of, what do I do that you don't like?
Right.
What does she do that I don't like? And
understanding how to talk, how to communicate that too. That was another problem that I had.
Right. And then now it's like, okay, well, on this list, what can we just get away with for sure? Like, this is done. Don't do this ever no more. But then what if it's something on this list that I still like doing? Mm-hmm. Now you compromise, which goes back to communication. All right, babe, I understand you don't like when I do this, but I kind of don't want to stop doing this because here's why. And I'll explain why. And if it makes sense to her, she's like, I don't agree with it, but I understand why you feel that way. Okay, here's the compromise. Right.
But I really want to make a really big point about how it takes time. And I feel like, again, when I was asked, do I want to fight for my marriage? It was like, no question. I knew I wanted to. I knew for a fact, even though he was getting on my nerves, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't like him at the moment. I knew for a fact that I want to fight for my marriage. My thing is when you're fighting for something, when you want something, y'all know what it's like. If you want this car and you're trying to figure out how you're going to get this car, you do whatever you got to save your money, to get your credit up, to do what you need to do to purchase that car. When you wanted to buy a dress and fit into this dress, you start dieting to make sure you do this and that so you can fit in that dress, or you go to an alteration person and let them loosen up some of them hems so you can put that dress on still. But what you do is you figure out a way to make sure you're able to do what you want to do. So I feel like when you're fighting for something and you're fighting for your marriage, it has to be that same mentality. Mm-hmm. Everything is not going to always go as expected. Even though you're making the progress of doing better, and when he's still not looking at me when I'm talking to him, I could have gave up. But no, I'm fighting for this marriage. So it's without question that I'm going to hang in there. I'm going to keep fighting. But I also want you to understand too, during the process when I'm fighting for this marriage and I'm telling him how I want to, what he's doing is still kind of disrespectful and trying to meet him there. And if he tries to come at me and throw blows at me, at first I was kind of like, I would take it. I understand you're frustrated. I know that I hurt you. I understand that how I was talking to you was belittling you, making you feel however you were feeling. So I get it. But after a while, even my therapist said, when I've already made these improvements, I'm consistent. Mm-hmm. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You see it. It ain't no coming back. I'm not taking all these steps back. Mm-hmm. I might mess up and I might have a little attitude here. I might here and there because I'm frustrated, but it's nothing like before.
Right.
What I had to do at that time is tell him, you are not going to bring me down anymore.
Come on now. Preach.
You're not going to bring up my past. You're not going to keep trying to say, well, this is what you would have did. That's why I act like this, because you used to. Okay, keyword used to, that's past.
Yeah, you throw that out.
You ain't seen
throw that
that
out the vocabulary.
Right, you haven't seen that in so long. You've seen me. You've seen the consistency over months. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about weeks and not months. Now it's going into a year. Now it's years. You cannot bring up that past.
Come on now.
You can't keep trying to bring up what you used to. I just figured you was going to go back to that. You're not going to do that.
Can't do that,
So
man.
if you want to fight for this marriage, it's time for us to keep moving forward. I had to put my foot down and say that and let him know you're not going to keep doing this. Mm-hmm. So sometimes some of y'all want to hold a grudge and hold on to this hate and that you're mad at that person so long. So you want to, just because they fall off a little bit, I'm going to throw that in your face. Well, you did this. No, you're going to mess up you're going to make that person finally say, you know what? I've tried. I'm done, because I will give everything I have. And if I've given everything I have and it's still not working, I'm going to be at peace with leaving your ass.
Pete, now stop right there. Drop the mic right there, babe. That's it right there, because that's what you want. You don't want to go out or leave a situation regretting did I make the right decision. You put your blood, sweat, and tears into everything. You gave it all you got to fight. And if the other person is not willing to do the same and they're just playing nitpicky games, they're waiting for you to mess up so they can say, I told you so.
Right.
You doing what you did before.
Right.
Nobody's perfect, but if you've seen any kind of improved mannerisms,
right,
then that's a win. So let's celebrate that together. How about saying, you know what, honey, I appreciate you really making an effort to make that change in your life. I appreciate just little things like that.
Yeah, start to really inspire one another to do better. Because I felt like the more he saw me, like, you know what, she really is calm. She's not popping off like she usually would. Every time after our argument, it got to a point where I would always come in and be like, I don't want to fight. Even though I knew it was his fault in my mind. And then even if after we talked about it, he even knew, okay, I probably did overreact or I probably did that. Even though I'm like, ugh.
Every time she said, I don't want to fight.
I came in there, I was just like, I don't want to fight.
That became a positive trigger words for me to like, okay, well, I don't want to fight either. So I'm not going to pick a fight. And she's kind of calming, she's stopping the bleeding
right
before it starts. And every time she said that, in my mind, I immediately went into, even if I was mad and angry, I would just kind of, a calmness kind of came about me like, okay, well, I'm not going to be the one to crank this fight up or make it go even higher or whatever. So then we'll start talking. And then once we start talking and communicating, we'll be listening to each other. And then all of the conversations in the resolution started happening fast.
Yeah,
it was getting faster and faster and
he
faster.
would be like, you know what, babe, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have did that. And I'd be like, well, I apologize for whatever I did. Because I feel like when you get in those kind of arguments, regardless, both parties can say, I'm sorry. Because even if you didn't mean anything and you didn't say anything to come off wrong, like I didn't have that tone, I didn't say that right, you just took it that way, it's still okay to say, you know what, I apologize that you took what I said wrong.
And be done with it.
Yeah, but not try
Don't
to
keep lingering on.
Right, keep going on. Don't say, well, you used to, or this is why we done.
Yeah, I just got one more thing to say. No.
We're calm, we're on the same page.
We agree.
We agree. Let's keep moving forward. We want to keep moving forward. And I think once you do that, but I honestly, the best way to fight for your marriage is to work on yourself and see what you could do to make that marriage better. And then y'all come together to do it together.
Because if you don't do it together, guys, it ain't gonna work anyways.
It's not. But always remember to look at yourself. I don't know how to reiterate that anymore, because when I realized that looking into myself was gonna better our marriage, it and then when I say so much easier to have a conversation, because he got on my nerves a few days ago.
Sure did.
Like, and I got on his nerves, and I felt that I was on his.
Did.
I felt, and I know he felt he was on mine. Okay,
Yep.
There, but we felt each other on each other's nerves. But it's kind of like, okay, give each other moment, space. We're still in the house together. We're doing our thing and stuff. And then eventually it's kind of like, well, you said this. Well, I didn't like how you said that. And then it was like,
And let me say this part before we wrap up.
It wasn't bad.
This is just my opinion, man. And I get it. Sometimes you can use a gift as a token of thank you. I appreciate you and I'm sorry. But you ain't got to go out and spend a whole bunch of money, your whole check, to go buy your mate a gift to say I'm sorry.
Sometimes rub her feet. Sometimes do the dishes for her. Sometimes Just talk. Sometimes, hey, you want to go for a walk?
Yeah,
hey, you want to go?
If you got the bread and you cool and then, this ain't gonna hurt your pocketbook or whatever, and you just want to add that as a cherry on top, okay, cool. But don't make it about the gift.
But I'm about to say it can. My thing, I don't mind gifts, but my thing is your action. I don't. But it's your actions included in that.
Right.
It's like, what are you doing after that? Are you listening to me? Are you really comforting me?
Or are you just using the gift as a pawn?
Right. And because I know I want to be able to be safe with you with my thoughts and my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
That is key. A lot of us women don't feel safe with our mate, with our thoughts and our feelings, because we think that you're going to use what we told you against us.
Absolutely.
And then to say if we got a mental health issue, like right now I feel depressed, this and that. Oh my God, you're crazy. You're this and that. So now you're using that against me when I came to you in confidence with trying to feel safe, saying I don't feel good.
Absolutely.
So again, work on yourself, work together. Learn to be the bigger person, because then both of you guys will be the bigger person.
Well, that's a horrible heart. I tried to put a heart.
That's still not a cute heart, babe.
Is that how you do it? How y'all be doing it? There we go.
Oh my God.
I be like a claw.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
There it is, y'all. We hope you got something for it. That's how we fight for our marriage, and we continue to do that. And we got to the point now where it's like, we almost pick fights with each other now just to argue.
Lies, don't say that. No, we don't, because we get on each other's nerves. If we get on each other's nerves, it don't take much. No, I'm playing. But we do get past.
All day long, pimping. Perfect Pair Podcast, man. Thank you guys. Continue to tell a friend, subscribe, download, all that good stuff. And we'll see y'all on the other side, pimping and pimpettes.
Bye.
Deuces.
Yay Networks.